Upon the desolate salt flats where life is near extinct, the Creator often reclaims all tenderness, leaving only a cruel essence capable of swallowing everything. The lake water there is crystalline yet intensely toxic. High concentrations of saline and alkaline compounds can easily corrode the toughest leather, and the steaming air hangs heavy with the pungent scent of sulfur. Yet, within this forbidden zone where even wild birds refuse to alight, there resides a silhouette as brilliant as wildfire. With a near miraculous elegance, they transform this lake of death into their own gentle haven. Tonight, let us sit by the gently flickering hearth, and with this story that requires no effort to remember, step into his true life. This creature, known as the flamingo, passes each long night in the place furthest removed from comfort, practicing an anomalous relaxation and an extremely restrained sleep. In this clamorous world, seeking a secure stretch of land is often a basic instinct for survival, but for him, the deep, toxic waters constitute nature's safest sanctuary. His legs are as slender as silk threads, borne covered in a layer of hard scales resistant to harsh alkaline corrosion, a pair of destined feet crafted specifically to stand amidst peril. Whenever night fully descends and the rippling lake surface is dyed a serene silver blue by the moon, he elegantly tucks away one foot, supporting his large frame solely upon a single delicate leg. He closes his eyes, gently folding that long, swan-like neck, and properly hides his heavy beak within the plush pink plumage of his back. It is a posture that can instantly dissolve all anxiety in whoever beholds it, free from any swaying, devoid of the slightest strain. The entire bird remains motionless in the center of the water, as if fused with heaven and earth. The wind whimpers low on the distant salt flats, while the weightless dreamscape belonging to the flamingo quietly unfolds amidst this swaying light. The dark night of the toxic red lake never follows the laws of the outside world. When the piercing glare of day retreats below the horizon, the water begins to exude a cold and eerie faint glow. For the flamingo keeping solitary vigil over this wilderness, every single night is a prolonged spiritual practice of balance and concealment. His feathers, dyed an intense pink by unique pigments, are the most conspicuous flame across the plains by day, but by night, they transform into a bizarre protective coloration, blending perfectly with the shimmering light of the lake. Yet beneath this ultimate elegance sits an inescapable natural compression. The nocturnal temperatures of the high-altitude alkaline lake plummet below freezing in just a few short hours. As icy gales begin to rage across the treeless lake surface, the freezing water cuts like needles against his exposed legs, attempting to strip away the final shred of warmth from his body. Facing this inherent severity, the flamingo does not choose to frequently flap his wings by the shore like other waterfowl, for lethal predators lie in ambush within the coastal shrubs. His destiny dictates that he must remain in the water, in the deepest, most dangerous, yet safest heart of the lake, to confront this freezing siege alone. This dilemma becomes the first fracture in his fate, making his nights long and fraught with restraint. He must learn to maintain absolute stillness in the cold, because every redundant movement accelerates the loss of heat, sliding life into an irrecoverable crisis. The breeze passes through his layered coverts with a soft, gentle rustling sound, while he stands frozen in the dark current like a pink stone sculpture, quiet without a single breath of sound. It is precisely this uncompromisable dilemma of survival that has forced the flamingo over the long centuries to evolve a sleep mechanism that astounds modern science. Since he cannot lie down, nor leave these freezing, toxic waters, he has borrowed a lock from his own body, a biological lock capable of shutting out gravity and exhaustion. When he slowly pulls up one leg, tucking it tightly beneath the warm feathers of his belly, the joint of the standing leg automatically slips into a wondrous state of mechanical locking under the downward pressure of his body weight. This locking requires no muscular power from his leg at all, much like an architect finding the single perfect keystone while building an arched bridge. This means that the single-legged stance, which appears immensely tiring to humans, is instead the body's most relaxed and energy-efficient natural posture for him. He can completely shut down the vast majority of his consciousness in this state, allowing his soul to drop into the deepest, sweetest slumber. The lake ripples gently under the night wind, and tiny waves lap ring by ring against his slender ankle, producing a regular, faint rocking sensation. This swaying does not disrupt his balance, rather, it acts like a colossal, azure cradle, tenderly rocking his dreamscape beneath the stars. Throughout this precious sleep, his beak, worn ragged from filtering algae by day, gains total rest, and his bodily metabolism is lowered to a perfect state of stillness. This is an ancient survival wisdom, refusing to fight gravity, refusing to clash with the environment, but simply utilizing the ingenuity of the body to fulfill his most stable night. There is another secret in the flamingo's life that is misunderstood by almost everyone, that is the stark, pale truth behind the color of their feathers. In the camera lenses of countless travelers, the flamingo is the definition of passion and romance, its brilliant pink wings intoxicating all who see them. Yet few know that this beautiful coloration is not an inherent pattern born of nature, but stems from the only food they can forage within these toxic waters, microalgae and brine shrimp rich in carotenoids. They are born merely as grayish-white, even somewhat homely chicks. To acquire this gown of fire, they must spend a lifetime swallowing these corrosive, toxic waters. It is a poignant life paradox of trading pain for beauty, and each step of their journey in turning toxin into splendor is exceptionally heavy. Crueler still, this beauty is not permanent. Whenever the breeding season concludes and a mother bird has exhausted every shred of nourishment to rear her offspring, her originally radiant plumage fades entirely within a few short days, turning into a dry, sickly white-gray. That paleness is the scar of a life completely drained, appearing utterly discordant within the bustling flock, even drawing cold neglect from companions. When a faded flamingo stands alone at the edge of the ruined lake, watching its companions still flashing pink under the moon, that isolation of being stripped by instinct and time carries a piercing sense of destiny. It must silently lower its head once more, searching anew for those minute pigments in the muddy, toxic waters, utilizing a supreme, cloistered restraint to await the rekindling of the flames. This containment and restraint of the flamingo is not only manifested in their journey of self-healing, but runs deeply through their immensely grand yet orderly communal relations. Upon the barren alkaline lake, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of flamingos gather together, forming an endless pink ocean. In human imagination, such a massive collective must inevitably be accompanied by ceaseless conflict, noise, and chaos, yet the true flamingo colony possesses a near-sacred midnight order. When the midnight moon rises to the zenith, the flock, which danced frantically and sang aloud for courtship by day, falls silent all at once, as if receiving a wordless command. Hundreds of thousands of living beings turn their heads in unison, hiding their beaks within their wings, forming loose yet never overlapping lines across several square kilometers of water. They maintain precise distances of mere centimeters between one another, capable of blocking portions of the freezing gale with their bodies while ensuring they never disrupt a neighbor's balance due to overproximity. If, in the deep of the night, a single flamingo on the outer perimeter detects the movement of a lurking predator, it does not explode into a panicked shriek, but releases a low, hoarse, short call. This sound travels rapidly across the water surface at a faint frequency unnoticeable to humans. Hundreds of thousands of flamingos, with their eyes closed in slumber, will instinctively take a synchronized step sideways toward safety. That movement is so seamless that not a single bird falls, not a single splash is thrown, like a massive pink carpet silently shifting beneath the moon. This trust that completely integrates individual destiny into communal order is their true ultimate card for flourishing over millennia upon the ruins, serene, hidden in dust, yet flawless. Yet at the edge of this pink sanctuary preserved for millennia, the colossal shadow of modern industrial civilization has begun to spread ruthlessly over recent decades, confronting the flamingo with its most severe crisis of survival. Because the alkaline lakes are rich in rare minerals and industrial raw materials, those originally uninhabited, toxic ruins have seen the erection of massive extraction factories and networks of asphalt highways. The scream of heavy machinery ruthlessly tears through the stillness of the wilderness, and the unregulated discharge of industrial wastewater has brought a catastrophic shift to the delicate composition of the lake water. In certain most heartbreaking turnings of fate, when the drought brought by the monsoons combines with the excessive water pumping of the factories, the originally vast red lake can dry up into a cracked, white salt crust in just a few short months. The flamingo family, deprived of its deep water sanctuary, wakes up one morning to face a harsh reality: their home has turned into an unreachable, hardened desert. The chicks, still unable to endure long-distance flight, have their tender feet cut mercilessly by the dry salt crystals, helplessly beating their unfeathered wings under the scorching sun, while the adults can only release mournful cries, circling loop after loop above the dry lake bed. Facing this epical upheaval where their home is uprooted, the flamingos exhibit no redundant fury or counterattack. They merely assemble in silence through the night with a near-haughty endurance. Guided by the memories of the elders, they unfold those black flight feathers hidden beneath the pink plumage, forming a massive V-shape in the thin night air, embarking on an arduous migration toward the next distant, unknown toxic lake. That night flight spanning hundreds of kilometers is an ultimate strain upon physical strength and will. Countless elderly souls exhaust their final lights along the way, falling soundlessly into the shadows of the earth, while the remaining flock maintains its restrained pace, flying resolutely toward the final source of hope. The night has deepened to the absolute utmost, and the waters of Lake Natron have slowly smoothed all ripples under the pull of the moon, the entire red surface as tranquil as a colossal, unpolished ruby. The dazzling Milky Way hangs unreservedly above the flamingo flock like a stationary river flowing with stardust, its light falling upon their pink feathers to reflect a near dreamlike, soft pale violet. By now, he has completely immersed himself in tonight's deepest slumber. That long leg which stood for hours is lowered back down in his sleep with extreme slowness and smoothness, replaced by the other warm foot gently stepping into the water, completing this effortless midnight exchange. At the beginning of our story, we sought to explore the eternal paradox of why he chose toxic ruins as his home, but now, we witness within this life the most ultimate freedom from contention and vital resilience. Although nature granted him the most lethal backdrop of survival and a heavy destiny of trading pain for beauty, it also gave him the perfect wisdom of balance and a noble soul that dances upon ruins. What he leaves to this desolate earth is never the clamor of conquest, but a flame that keeps burning amidst extinction, and a composure that remains unswayed before the storm. This story of shimmering light and feathered wings has quietly reached its end, just like the breeze that blew along the shore all night, finally slowing its steps at the edge of the mangroves. The world has quieted down completely, and the night of the toxic lake will watch over you with its gentlest boundary of safety. You do not need to undergo his long migration, nor endure that fated isolation. At this very moment, you need only relax every single ounce of gravity from your body, just like that flamingo standing beneath the starlight. Close your eyes, and let all your thoughts land softly within this shimmering tranquility, sinking together with the dimming glow of the hearth into the deepest, sweetest dreamland. Good night.